What's going on YouTube? Darksword255 here with the numbers may be randomly generated, but the content itself is not, and I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Fastidious. I had the pleasure of collabing on a other video talking over the new collabs on his channel, so definitely go and check it out. He's an amazing creator, one of my favorite raid creators, fellow creators, I guess. Fastidious, thank you so much for joining me, taking the time. How are you doing today?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Excited to talk raid, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and happy to be doing another video with you.
Oh, absolutely. I've been super excited to do another collab with you. I think we have very similar mindsets when it comes to raid, and that's really the whole premise of this video. There's a lot of people that talk about how great raid is, but I think that we also should focus on things that raid could improve. And as somebody who has played a large variety of mobile games, and obviously Fastidious here has played a lot of different variety of mobile games, I think we have a very good perspective on things that we like for raid, and also things that, you know, raid could work on. But there is one thing that we can both agree on, is that this is the best time to start a raid Shadow Legends account. I am not affiliated with raid, I am not promoted by raid, but my boy over here, Fastidious, is. Fastidious, can you please tell us about this brand new account startup promo code that you have?
Yeah, man, sure. And thank you for offering this. This was 100% your idea. You're like, you want to plug your link? And I'm like, Polarium wants me to do it. Yeah, I mean, I have the privilege to play raid because I'm fully sponsored by raid. 100% transparent, completely sponsored by them. I played raid since 2019. I covered raid for a year, 100% for free in 2021. But then I got really busy with real life. Then I got really busy with a bunch of other games. And I was privileged enough to come back because they wanted to collaborate and do a sponsored channel. They let me say whatever I want, and you're going to hear in this video I have a lot of negative things to say. But there's also a lot of positive things to say because the game's really good. I mean, let's be honest, that's why it's so popular. There's a lot of problems, but there's a lot of really good things. So one of the bad things is it's very expensive. So if you want the best start possible, just use my link and you get more free crap than you could ever dream of. I will say, at the time of filming this, it's January 28th. I don't know when this is coming out. I have a new link coming out on February 1st, which is the link you're about to hear about, plus an extra champion. So if you're catching this later or you want to wait till the 1st, definitely do that. But basically, you get Tholin on download right away. Plus, if you start playing today, you get Ezio from the login stuff. When you use a content creator code like mine, the link in the description or wherever you're putting it, you can get a bunch of free legendaries, but I recommend Sicia, Cheshire Cat, or Tuhanarak. You basically pick. Do you think those are the best three? I think those are the best
Especially Cheshire Cat, like for a brand new account, yeah. God tier.
So there you go, like Ezio plus whichever one of those three you pick, and then guaranteed with my link, Tholin, that's 3 legendaries to start, but then you get 3 of the absolute best epics in the game almost immediately. So many other links, it takes you to level 30, 40, 50 to get the good epics. For me, you're getting Uugo at level 15, that takes like an hour. Tagoar at level 20, that takes like 2 hours. And then you are getting Venomage, who's just ridiculous at level 30. That takes you a day or 2, depending on how hardo you go on the game. And then if you wait till February 1st, at level 40, you get a 4th one, which is going to be Mausoleum Mage. So 4 of the best epics, they all do different things, and then 3 completely broken legendaries. It's all free. Go do it. You know?
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me plug hard. They love when I plug. Polarium loves when you plug, guys.
Hey, like I said, I'm not affiliated with anybody anymore, so, you know, if you want to start raid, why not start absolutely goated? I started raid with no promo codes and nothing. So, I mean, that's going to be a point that I'm going to end up coming back to a little bit, you know, foreshadowing here, guys, that I'm going to talk about. But yeah, it's going to be linked down below, guys. Check out his link. Like I said, amazing starter link. Also helps him out a lot. Gives Polariums a, hey, by the way, we should definitely keep collabing with this guy. But I mean, obviously, why wouldn't we? Look at this guy.
We just renewed. We're good to go, guys. So you're stuck with me or you can ignore me. Things are good. I don't know if it's on either of our lists, but we should just get out of the way. The game's way too expensive.
Oh, it's on my list. Really.
Okay, do you mind if we just start?
No,
I feel like we're just like too positive right now.
Yeah, I mean, we already talked. We foreshadowed. To go back to your point, you know, you just said, you know, starting this game. I mean, this game in general is a very expensive game to get into. I think it's, out of all the mobile games that I have ever played, this is by far the most expensive game to get into. Do you agree? Like it's crazy just for the amount you're getting.
What the I don't think it used to be this way. A lot of people have complained about how expensive it was since 2018, right? Since the game started. I started playing in 2019. I've been hearing it forever. But as someone who had the vast majority of his experience in Raid coming as a free-to-play player. I only spend money now since I started this new channel, and then I only spent money before that on my first ever account. So I had like 3.5, 4 years only playing free-to-play. And I thought it was insanely free-to-play friendly if you're willing to be a sweat lord. So there's basically two reasons I think it actually is maybe, like you're saying, the most expensive mobile game out there right now in its current state. Number one, the amount of content you have in the game right now. If you want to be successful free to play, of course it's possible. Look at maybe my favorite Raid creator in the game right now, Boozer. It's amazing what he can do. But
crazy.
Full time, right? It's amazing that he has another job too on top of, it's like the amount, it just takes so many, we're going to come back to this, but it just takes so much time. So basically any normal person needs to spend money if they want to succeed in that way and not give away their life. But a lot of not normal people play this game. Like the second thing I would say, and I want to hand back to you is the mythicals, the primals. When I used to play before coming back, you know, I took a break in 2023, 2024, like for like a year and a half. Mythicals weren't a thing. They didn't exist. They came several months after I started my break. And yeah, Joan is here now. And the difference between having Joan or having not a mythical is just way too large, and it's way too hard to get her. And it can cost literally tens of thousands of dollars if you're hunting one of these guys. I know personally, because one of my best friends in the game, Larry, we kind of co-run an account. I mean, you guys can try to figure it out in your head. He's put in so much money into this game, he would admit it. And it's because he chases +4 on mythicals like this. And for example, we had +4 on like 8 or 9 different mythicals, which I know is crazy to hear, before we ever pulled Nell. And that was the only one we were missing and wanted for the longest time. And I mean, you can imagine how much that costs. So not everyone needs to approach it that way, but for the average player, like I spend $150 a month every single month since I started this account. I don't have a single mythical on my account. I'm getting Empress this week. That's gonna be my first one.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. When I first started this game, you could get crazy packs, crazy deals. You didn't have to spend really a lot, but now there's so much content within the game that, you know, you're investing money to not spend as much time in the game, which is a crazy thing to think about. You know, hey, like I want to be top dog. Hey, I don't want to spend 7 hours on this game. I want to spend 45 minutes. I'm going to grab my credit card and buy an extremely overpriced, you know, energy pack. You can see here, I mean, you know,
it's insane.
$30 for some books and some energy is crazy. And that's, you know,
it used to be for spenders back in the day, you'd look to try to get 400 energy per dollar spent. Now it's, if you can get better than 210, 220, you're like excited as a spender. Like they literally doubled the prices.
Yeah, and I'm not so much now, but I used to be a huge spender. I had like my own set aside like fund money, and they would all go to Raid. I mean, you can see my account is a little, you know, it's not a Kraken account, but it is nice. It is nice. It is a little bit crazy, but you know, I don't even spend really that much money on this game anymore because it's just it's way too expensive. And again, if I could spend money on this game versus some other mobile games that give me so much more value for my dollar, I would rather spend it there and just quote unquote grind out this game because my account is at that point, you know, to get there.
Yeah, I think that's valid. I mean, there's a lot of mobile games you can spend several $1,000s in, which I know already is a huge amount of money, but then already be insanely competitive. I mean, in Raid, you will not compete if you don't hit six figures in the current climate with the mythicals, because you're so far behind. I mean, and it's probably not even low 6 figures. But to be fair, very few people are dreaming of competing at that level. But even for the normal player, right? If you don't have all the time to put into fusions, that's something we'll talk about later too. I mean, the way to avoid hours and hours and hours a day, which a lot of people don't have, is owning up that cash.
Yeah, I agree. It's just ridiculous, honestly. You can play this game free to play very comfortably, but you're you're investing so much time to compensate for not spending. Unless this is your full-time gig, or you can devote 5 or 6 hours to the game, you're not going to be able to really milk all of that, like all that resources out of the game. It just is a big time sink. But that will go to kind of my first point of why I actually like this game comparatively to really other mobile games is really...
Yeah, let's get positive again.
Yeah,
look at the description.
It's not necessarily the complexity, but there's so much to do. So like I said, a variety. I've played, obviously I've just started playing Watchers. Isekai, it's a bunch of hero collecting games similar to Raid. Also, generic other games like Lords Mobile, Call of Dragons. I've played a huge variety of games. And the thing that is annoying about those games is at a certain point, you just get bored. There's nothing to do in those games. You just get to a point that you just kind of do your dailies. Takes you about 10 minutes and then you're waiting. This game, you have such a depth of PvP or PvE depending on what you want. So that's just something that I like, is I like that there's a lot to do. Again, mainly because this is one of the main games, that I play. If I was playing a variety of different games, probably wouldn't like that, you know. And to move back to you, I know you don't necessarily like that there's a lot, you know, of stuff to do. At least it's not.
I love that there's a lot. I just don't like how long it takes.
Yeah, that's fair.
I love that. I that was going to be one of my positives until I saw you have it. I'll add like a piggyback positive that's a little bit different, but goes in hand. It's not just a variety of content, but there's such a variety of ways to engage with the content, which you just don't see in enough games. You know, Watcher Realms is my bread and butter. I'd consider myself like an expert in that game. I have a very successful channel covering that game. I do takeovers for multiple people every day. I play my account every day. I've started a million accounts. But one big problem that game has is like, especially for end game content, there's like a very strict meta. You know, if you want the best team, and I guess in Raid and something like Hydra, maybe there's like a most meta team, but there's many teams that can break Hydra. You know, it's just
for sure.
How hard are you trying to break it? But in Monster Realms, there are very limited solutions to a lot of the end game bosses, where it's basically you become hunting duplicate copies to awaken and strengthen those heroes, or you still need to get the base copy of that special hero. They call champions heroes in that game. Whereas in Raid, I mean, how many ways can you? I mean, I know it's OG content, but it's probably the best content Raid's ever had for a single boss. How many ways are there to beat the Demon Lord? A million?
There's so many teams.
Go to Deadwood Jedi's website. I know it's not as fresh as it used to be because Demon Lord's not challenging people, but you can see when it was at its height, how many different tunes has he uploaded to that site? 100, 200, 300? It's unbelievable, all with different champions. I mean, even as you scroll through, look at that variety. If we were going to watch a Realms, I'm happy to poop on it. I don't care. People know I love it, but it has a million problems too. Most of these games do. You would scroll through my guild and you'd see, on a team of 10, you'd probably see 15 total characters. That much variety across 30 accounts, right?
Yeah.
Whereas here, I mean, it's a huge variety. There's still bread and butter stuff with like unkillable and block damage and whatever, but you can do super speed comps. You can do just lean heavy into dot damage comps. I mean, there's so many ways to beat it, and that's just one piece of content. I feel that way about so much in Raid, and I think it's the strongest thing it offers. And then if I can do one sub point within that, it kind of just comes from how many different buffs there are, how many different debuffs, how many unique passives. It's crazy. And I don't think any game that I've ever played comes close, at least in this space, with that many options.
Oh, I very much agree. I like that. It's not, there aren't quote unquote metas. Yes, there are strong champions, but it really comes down to kind of your knowledge.
There are definitely metas, but there are no required metas. It's never like you need the most effective team available. It's just like it exists because by definition in gaming, there has to be a most effective team available. There has to be a meta. But in Raid, a million other non-most effective teams are completely and utterly effective.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool.
Like it all comes down really to game knowledge, because you can have people that are extremely knowledgeable make teams that are better than people who've spent thousands of dollars, which is another thing that I kind of really like. Is that if you have a lot of knowledge in this game, you can manipulate. There's so many champions. I think there's like 600, or it's a crazy amount of
coming towards 1,000, dude.
Yeah, it's 1,000. It's just crazy, right? Like there's so much variety in this game. It's complex, so you can spend and invest a lot of time into this game, and it's rewarding to invest that time, because then you're gaining knowledge. You can use that knowledge progressively to progress your account. If you're an end game account, you can fine tune it. And you could also find these really weird niche like champions to work with. Let's say a new fusion that comes out, a new champion, something gets buffed. You know, I like that. I like that the game is not as easy, which is also, there's a flip side to that. Obviously, we'll harp on that later. But I like that there's a variety of content. The game is kind of complicated, and there's not like a one champion needed for like every single boss. Like you said, a meta.
There are champions you could use in every boss, but there's no one you need.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
To move back to the point of me talking about like the complexity and why me personally I like it, it's not really so much newer player friendly. There's so much information in this game. For instance, when you're going to build a champion, there are an unbelievable, I broke this down. These are all of the different types of item sets. Most mobile games, you have like a couple, and you're kind of aiming for some stats. This game is so complex. Like, look at all of the stats, and this is just for one piece. You know, there's such a variety of stats. Each set of gear does a certain thing, and then these sets all go into different bosses, different locations, what you're going to be using them for, PvE. Like, it's too complicated. You really are reliant heavily on like content creators really to explain a lot of these items, how to build champions and what you're aiming for. It doesn't do, Raid doesn't themselves inside of the game doesn't do a good job explaining these different items and how to be building different champions. Do you mimic that at all?
Yeah, I think the complexity itself is a huge win, but I think they fall short in making that complexity easy to learn and engage with. And I think you hit the nail on the head there. You know, in so many other games, you can get such a clear picture because they just present it in a more straightforward manner. So a good example is Dragonair. Whenever you go to fight any like boss in Dragonair or any dungeon, whatever you want to do, they will tell you the recommended accuracy. They'll tell you the recommended resistance. Not required, but they like nudge you in that direction. Right. Another thing, let's go to Watcher Realms and talk about a great thing Watcher Realms does is you can see recent teams, like many recent teams that have beaten the piece of content you're looking at. And it's not like Raid where if you go to like a dungeon right now, Dark Sword, you can see it will tell you like teams of the week, and underneath it they have the gear set icons, but you can't see how the actual units were geared. You know, you don't for an experienced player, you don't need to know. You're just like, oh, those are functional, cool. But for a new player, you don't want to just know the set. You want to know what main stats they were rocking, what subs they were hunting. You want to see the accessories. Were there any special accessory sets, or was it just classic standard no set accessories? And I just don't think that's clear. Frankly, even as I say, set or no set accessories, or effect or no set accessories, whatever you want to think of it as, I think a lot of people don't even know what that means if they're new to the game. And I don't think it's ever really explained to you. I think there's so much I know about Raid just because I've been in it so long. I've made content in it. I've followed a million content creators over the years. I think, like you said, you have to rely on these third-party sources. Whereas many games, like I just want to shout out Dragonair because yes, they have their problems too, but they make it so much clearer. It's crazy, like with all these little things. So it's an unnecessary barrier to entry for a game that's trying to get everyone in the world to play it. Like the amount of videos I watch on YouTube, because I don't really watch video game content ever on YouTube. I make enough of it myself, and I don't want to it's never video game content, and I see Raid ads like once a week. You know, I'll be watching like the recap of a TV show that has nothing to do with video games, or I'll be watching some kind of like commentary guy talking about Amazon stock. It doesn't, by the way, this is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends, right? They're trying to get people like that aren't like sweaty gamers with YouTube channels or sweaty gamers watching YouTube channels. They need to explain things better.
Yeah, I could not agree anymore. I mean, even if you look at gear for like certain champions, let me see if I can just pull it up real quick here. Even that is not even, oh my God, with the pop-ups, spend money. It doesn't really like walk you through how to like genuinely build these. Like this is like a not updated or explanatory like process.
Well, it's just like half the picture, right? It's like, that's like it depends on what gear you have. Like you'd never build Galathier in all speed gear if you had all supersonic or something, right?
Yeah.
Or I'm totally blanking on the one that you get from Live Arena, the purple one. If you had a bunch of two sets of that.
I think it's Zeal.
Zeal, yeah. It's like a strict upgrade, right? But they present it as this being the recommendation. And it depends on what you have, where you are.
Yeah, it is just unbelievably basic and honestly not great at all. Like I think 99% of players laugh at this when they see it. It doesn't tell you anything. It's really.
Do they still recommend like a defense set on some unit? Click on Islan or something. Let's see.
It does. I mean,
like,
it does.
That's hysterical.
Yeah, like hysterical. It doesn't do a good job
with HP percentage boots.
Oh, is that what it said?
Yeah, HP percentage boots, 3-piece defense. I mean, that is comical.
Yeah, sorry, my face is guarding. I can't really move it over, guys. But yeah, these are defense sets, and yeah, it's just like again, it doesn't even show the new gear. Like it just is the very basic gear that was brought into Raid at its inception in 2019 or 2018, whenever Raid was created. So, I mean, the game's old, right? But, there needs to be more of a walkthrough instead of just kind of throwing you into the deep end or relying on you to search up like somebody like me or Fastidious for like answers for things. It's a little bit, the barrier of entry is too high. And that's, I hate that. I hate that because, I have a bunch of friends that want to play. They play for about a week or something. They get unbelievably confused and then they leave. It's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And again, you can build your champions in so many different ways. It's not, it's too complex, which some people like that, like me. But again, I'm investing how many hours a day? This is my main thing.
Too complex. The complexity is gated when it doesn't need to be.
Exactly. And that's a major gripe with it.
I'll do a quick bad because this will take us 2 seconds to talk about. This game requires way too much of your time. And I'll be honest, now that I'm back and I'm a monthly spender, like I play the game so much less because I that's what I spend on. I spend on energy and stuff like that. So I just can stress less. So that way I only have to play 1 or 2 hours a day instead of 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10. I mean, I really think the fact that they refuse to automate some of the worst stupidest parts of the game that only becomes stupid once you've invested so much time, effort, and for many people, very likely money into the game, that it doesn't need to be, propped up as something that can't be automated. It baffles me even right now. I don't know if you did that on purpose. But
I did. I was going to go to a character and you can't.
Yeah, those Doom Tower floors. I mean, how is that not a one-click quick clear? You could make it. You have to beat that Doom Tower hard rotation 3 times. So people are like, oh, well, they'll finish it in a year, right? It's 4 rotations. 4 rotations. Is it 3 rotations?
Yeah, it's 3 rotations,
So
but
9 months. 9 months of fully clearing hard Doom Tower, right? I think at that point they've got you. They don't need to milk you anymore for player engagement or make sure you're properly invested in the game. I mean, it probably all comes down to some kind of internal analytics they want to share with investors for how much time people have the game on. But this is no other game does this that's modern at this point in the genre.
Yeah.
And the idea that this is running fine background battle, but you can't go do arena at the same time.
Nope, can't do it.
It's just not a thing in other games. And again, they're doing themselves a disservice because they add brilliant new content like Grim Forest, which is excellent. But who wants to engage with Grim Forest, which is like, yes, incredible gameplay, but it's so much tinkering and tankering and perfecting. And there's so many different, restrictions that come when it comes to your pool of units and the RNG and whatever, that are you going to put the 2-3 hours you'd have to put into a big push there, maybe 1 to 2, it depends on the player, after you've done 3 hours of dailies? However, if they automated a lot of these dailies, like 1 click for this, 1 click for that, faction trials should be 1 click, a Doom Tower climb should be 1 click, bosses should be able to farm in the background while you do your arena, you can knock everything out in 20 minutes instead of 3 hours, then you've tons of energy and a ton of bandwidth for raid, and then you're going to fully pursue Curse City, or you're going to finally actually do siege for your clan, or you're going to do Grim Forest, right? But they have a lot of new content, like I just shouted out, those last 3 things on the right there, that a lot of people fully ignore because they just don't have the bandwidth, they don't have the energy, they don't have the patience for it after grinding their 2, 3, 4 hours of dailies every flipping day.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic points. You have all your dailies, and you can't just, like you said, automate them unless you're using like a third-party app like RSL Helper, and even that you still have to hand click. I know that Raid has already kind of alluded to like really dumbing down a lot of these systems and processes so you can multitask through the game, but like that's a huge sticking point. You really can't invest the amount of time that you need to in this game because you have to do everything in a linear format, which is ridiculous. No, like you said, no other modern mobile game does.
You just have to do everything one at a time, and you have to do everything. I mean, but only just now, the past year, 2 years that we have the 1-click clan boss, we have the 1-click Hydra. We still don't have 1 click on Chimera. Freaking why? Insane. It's disrespectful to the player's time, and I think the game would be more popular without it. Let me do a positive though. You mentioned fusions. I just think fusions are awesome. No other game does it as well. I know people complain about fusions because of time, but I just think what could be a better use of your time or money if you don't want to use as much time. I mean, you're getting a free guaranteed legendary, and you can skip any ones you want. Personally, I don't like skipping any fusions, but with some frequency, we'll see a fusion we thought was bad become a good champion, and then sometimes they get buffed. But if you don't care about that kind of like risk, only go for the ones we know are going to be good. Like Titus is there, go grab your Titus, go grab your Crocod, go grab your Donnie, right?
Yeah.
You'd end up doing 3 to 7 fusions a year probably if you just want to go with everyone we know for sure is amazing out of the gate, and they're just going to be free, and you can save around it. Anyone can do it free to play once you get your account set up. Granted, that probably takes 3, 5, 6, 12, 15 months, depending on how good you are and how committed you are. But once you're there, I mean, these are just cool free legendaries, and I love it. I think, and no other game does it like Raid. It's awesome.
No other game. Other games you have to invest a bunch to like buy it. Like it's like, oh, here's a fusion or here's a thing. Cool. Here you need to buy 50,000 shards of or do like this crazy event to get these like local currencies. That's lame. But like you said, which is I think a fantastic point, is these are free if you just have the materials, which again you're going to be getting. Like this energy, I've not spent any money on this energy. I've just got it by playing the game, right? And you don't have to have like
you're a big spender though.
Yeah, but I haven't. So I could have showed. I could have been on my free to play account. It has the same amount of energy. I know it kind of. It's like, oh, no, I'm a big spender on this account. It's showing my energy, but I haven't spent money on the game in a while. But all of these resources can be gathered just by playing the game. And once you get to a certain point, all of these are free legendary champions. And some of them are account changing that you can get just by playing the game. And it kind of forces you to play different areas of the game or do different events that you wouldn't necessarily do, like gear enhancement, like leveling up your gear, going to certain dungeons and farming gear, stuff like that you wouldn't necessarily go out of your box to do. That's what the fusion kind of makes you do And the free legendary, you know, and like I said, sometimes they're
one simple thing though is just they're so consistent. I just love it. Like it's like, you know, I think it's 13 a year. I think it's every 4 weeks, just like clockwork. And like other games that do fusions, they're way fewer, and because they're way fewer, even fewer are good. Whereas Raid, like, you know, there's like going to be 2 bangers a year minimum, maybe 4, and probably like 6 to 8 actually good, maybe even 6 to 10 depending how you look at it. I think it's awesome. It's great.
Oh yeah, I agree. And to like kind of go off what you're saying here with the fusions, you can have a great free-to-play account because of the frequency of these fusions. You know, you can get great legendaries. So first, you start the game off with, you know, your boy Fastidious' code here. You start off with an amazing account, which again, I've been playing the game. I had to start, you know, walking uphill in the rain both ways. But you're going to start off, you know, your raid account with some really awesome legendaries. But then just by playing the game, you can just get new legendaries that could be account changing, that are god tier just by playing. You know, I have a free to play account that I haven't spent $1 on, and it rivals a lot of accounts that are paid, you know, that people have spent money on. So to go to back what you're saying, you know, the fusions, it's a fun time of the game. Everybody's active. People are talking about the new champion, where to use them, and then you're just like doing a bunch of events.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
So we just finished talking about, you know, how we both like fusions here. What are some negatives that you could be adding to this?
Yeah, I got like one more negative, one more positive, and they kind of both tie into this, so I can make it pretty brief. For negative, the way, I don't even want to call them banners because Raid doesn't really have banners, but the way they approach the idea of banners, which people that only play Raid might not even know what I mean, it's just wrong and bizarre. So when I say banner, this is like a weekly rate up you're going to see in basically every game where there's like some exciting, desirable unit that has some improved chance to get them. Now you might be saying, well, look, summon boost up 25x. This is nothing like what a rate up banner is in any other game. In Voids, it's okay because the pool's fairly limited. So if there's a Void legendary on rate up, I think there's something like 90 Void legendaries right now, and you get a 25x on that, it's like, yeah, all right, you're looking at a 1 in 5 chance every time you hit, maybe 1 in 4, but who's hitting 4 or 5 times every Void banner on Void shards? I mean, you're talking, what would it be at that point on average? Let's say that'd be at least 500 summons, so you're talking at least $1,500 to $2,500. It's just completely untenable for the average player, and that Voids are not something you can save quickly or effectively in the game free to play. So you might be saying, all right, well, we've got progressives live right now too on Ancients. You can click right there if we go to the Ancients above. This pool is enormous. There are hundreds of non-Void legendary champions. So a 25x means nothing, right? I don't know the exact number, but let's just call it 275 for some easy math. If it's 275, actually, let's call it 276 for easier math, right? So it's a 25x is 276. That means a 25x. Now you got a 25 in 300 chance. A 25 in 300 chance. That is a 1 in 12 chance with max rate up. So that means on average you'll have to pull 12 legendaries to hit the rate up unit. It is comical and it is not exciting. A huge part of other games, I'll shout out Watch of Realms here, is built around the weekly hype with banners, and it is so lucrative for those games, and it's phenomenal for content and engagement and life in that game, because you have some reason to check in every week. People check into my channel every single week in Watch of Realms to watch my Should You Summon series, where I review all the weekend's banners, right? You've probably watched them before if you're getting into Watch of Realms. Like, that's something we lack. Imagine if Boozer had that every week, if Hell Hades had that every week, if we were doing it. I mean, we don't have that kind of natural weekly infrastructure built into Raid. So the reason I'm pulling from fusions is we have this home run thing with fusions where the game kind of is on this incredible singular 4-week cycle, and then other stuff goes on top of it. You could have a separate 1-week cycle on top of that. If instead of a 25x, frankly, for Ancients, it was a 100x is what it should be. It still would be way less than a 50% chance once you max that out and get to 100x. For Voids, it should be a 50x. Frankly, for Sacred, it should be a 200x. Like, they make it, there's too many of these non-Void legendaries, and too many of them absolutely stink butt. You need to make it, and they are hurting themselves. I'm telling you, people would shell out money every single week if they actually felt like they had a chance to hit on a progressive. But because they don't treat it like proper banners in other games where it's impactful, it's useless. Like, for example, that last thing I'll say, in Watcher of Realms, you get a 20x on normal banners. When I say normal, I mean, for us, we call it non-ancient. Ancient's basically the equivalent of Voids. It's not exact one-to-one, but you can think of it in terms of rarity. So the normal pool in Watch of Realms, I believe right now, is 78 legendaries. 78. Wow. And then you've got special other kind where there's 7. Those are the lords, which are super rare, and those aren't going to be on rate up. So basically, when someone goes on 20x, you're already out of 1 in 5 to begin. And in that game, you get about 3 to 5 times more summons than in raid for normal summons. So like just any free-to-play player is going to hit once every month or so on a rate up banner. So they're going to try all the time. And then some of them become not free to play. And not to harp on that, but that's the goal of the game, right? For these developers. And I think that, again, not to use the word disservice for the 10th time, but I think they're doing themselves in the game a disservice. And if they approach progressives better, if they made it a proper banner system, it would make the game far more exciting.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, I just started Watchers and I got this awesome mage, brand new account, you know, because of that progressive system. It's like not even worth, like, this is honestly kind of, lack of a better word, a scam. It's an illusion to like what you're saying. There's just so many legendaries. They used to have a guaranteed event that you could pull 200 of whatever shard and to get a certain champion. And they haven't done that in years. And I don't even spend money anymore for like anything that's not void because the chance of getting it is ridiculous. It's just not worth it just to go back to what you're saying. So I totally agree. They need to change that.
I mean, the progressive goes, but it's such low increments. The 25x should be the baseline, and then the progressive should multiply upon that. So Watch Realms, it's already 20x as a baseline with a far, far smaller hero pool. And if you don't hit on your first legendary on a banner, they multiply it by 10. So the next legendary, you'll have a 200x. If you miss again, it's 2000x, which means 996 out of 1,000 people on that third one are going to hit. You have a 0.4% chance to miss.
Yeah. See, that immediately sounds so nice.
Everyone hits in 3 tries.
Oh my God, imagine. And for raid, that'd be so nice.
Yeah, imagine that if you could actually say, you know what, I'm going to go get Cassandra today. I saved up 350 ancient shards. It's a 2x with the progressive, assuming that was happening. You would go get her.
Yeah, guaranteed.
To do it.
Yeah.
And the ones who didn't have it would go spend and do it. A lot of them.
Absolutely. I would be, well, again, not right now, but I would absolutely, for certain champions, like the Unity champions, oh yeah, like Teox, I would drop.
Yeah. And when they do those, then you can lower it because then those can be your cash grabs, but not everything needs to be a cash grab.
Agreed. Totally agree.
I think I've got one really good positive we can end on. I'm going to keep it short because I want to hear your response. I think probably the best thing about Raid, I do love the fusions. I think the best thing about Raid is how reliable it is. Like, this game is here. It's not going anywhere. They've weathered a million lows and they've celebrated a million highs. And no other gacha in history that's non-anime has had that streak. So this is a game you can get into, invest your time into. If you're a pay-to-win player, you can invest your money into, and you do not have to worry about the game going poof under you, which I truly think is the worst part of so many games.
So many.
How many games have we ever heard of? Maybe tried out. Maybe you saw your favorite creator try out, or your buddy left a game that you were playing together to go try out, just for it to die in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. It's really not until a game has succeeded consistently for 2 straight years that you know it's here to stay. And Raid has done it for coming up on 8 years. And it's, whether people like it or not, because there are Raid haters out there, it is dominating the space, and it's not going anywhere, and they're doing as well as they've ever done.
Yeah.
So it's just very impressive, and you just know that this game is part of the scene, and you know it's a game you can really take a big bite out of, chew on for a while, and enjoy for years or months or weeks or days, whatever you want to make of it. It's going to be here.
Yeah, I think I actually didn't think about how to frame it the way that you did. I think that's a great reliability and time investment and having a payoff, right? This game's not going anywhere. It's been around. It was a meme, and it's still around. It's still progressing. They're still actively working on it and progressing it in such like large strides. So if you're going to invest on any kind of like mobile game, are you going to invest on one of the, the pop-up mobile games that end up dying? You join a server with your friends and then you get bored and then the game dies. There's not a lot of content, or you're going to
know worth feeling, and that's not to say you shouldn't go try out other games, but it feels so good to have a game you can believe in, and it's going to believe in you, and it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just cool. Especially, I'll just say, I do have like content creator mind and glasses, and like I was like, now with Watcher Realms, that's like my other main game besides Raid. Now it's been 2.5 years. Now I feel really good because also I know a lot about the vision. But that first half a year and a half, 2 years, you just feel so unsteady. And in that time that Watcher Realms has been out, while Raid's been dominating on top the whole time. How many games underneath both of them have we seen fizzle out in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 8 months? It's basically every game that isn't like Wuthering Waves, which is anime. In this non-anime gacha genre that I think a lot of us are interested in. That's why we're here. You can also love animes too; those are really fun as well. It's slim pickings, and this is a really good pick to pick from.
Yeah, reliability, longevity, And like you said, there's so much to the game, and it changes all the time, and there's content. I mean, obviously for me, I've been doing this for a long time now, like playing the game and then doing content. You know, there's a lot of stuff that keeps me on this game. I think that's a great shout out. And again, not to overly shout out like your code and stuff, but you know, if you're watching this video and you're interested in this game, you know, obviously subscribe to my channel. I do a bunch of guides. I do a bunch of champion reviews. I do a lot of fun stuff also, just like messing with the champions, you know, in different areas of the game. And, you know, you can start off the game with, again, I started this game off with nothing, and you're starting off with Fastidious' code here with an amazing start. And, you know, if I started the game with all the different champions, you could do a lot, and you're not going to get stuck. And that's what's really, really nice about starting the game off with his code.
Yeah, it could take you like thousands of dollars worth of summons to come close to having that start, and you're getting it for free the first day. So
yeah, not to sound like it's an over like promo, but like if you're gonna start raid, you really need to start with like, you don't have to start with the best, but like why not start with the best, you know? So Fastidious, thank you. I think that this is, you know, again, I love talking to you. It's always introspective, and I think we share, like I said, a very similar mindset to things that involve raid and some, you know, stuff outside of raid. So thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're extremely busy to sit down with me and kind of like, you know, pick your brain and get some of your opinions on these things.
Yeah, man, a pleasure to be here. And yeah, hope to talk really soon. Make sure to subscribe to Dark Sword's channel, guys. If you make it to the end of the video and you don't subscribe, what are you doing? So,
yeah,
there you go. Thank you.
Yeah, likewise. Say again, I can't say it enough, and I know I keep saying it. Sorry. Make sure, guys, check out Fastidious' video with me and him comparing the newest collab event that Raid is doing right now. Again, Fastidious is awesome. Check out his channel, and I will see everybody in the next video.